Jeremy Woo of ESPN.com NBA draft fame. He helped release their first mock draft immediately after. And I put this up at Dirt and Sprague as a poll question, but it's a projection of the 58 picks post-lottery. And so they go through everything. Him and Gavoni have worked on this for months, and they go through team by team. By the way, we're bad, okay? At least we're not the Pistons. They got absolutely just wrecked by basketball karma yesterday.
Yes, they did. Horrible team this year.
They have not had a number one overall pick in 51 years.
Somebody did a graphic, too, of like how many times they've been in the lottery and the percentage of times that they have they always fall in the lottery. Every time they're this bad, it's always a slip in the lottery.
Maybe, stop tanking. Maybe just try to field a good team and build from that, okay? But they went through it at ESPN.com, and they got to our beloved Blazers. And at number 7, Jeremy Woo says the Blazers take Nikola Topic, who is a Serbian player who is 18 years old. And he says this, the Blazers are not far enough in their rebuild to worry about too much positional fit. Topic's combo of size and playmaking ability differentiates his skill set from the guards they already have on the roster. Portland can take a swing on the best available talent here, envisioning Topic as part of a multi-playmaking attack alongside Scoot, Shaden, and Ant. At this spot in the draft, Topic is an intriguing bet with his feel and passing ability likely to help enhance opportunities for others around him. I know you haven't dove in yet, and I know you're eagerly awaiting. Topic is 6'6", 18 years old, star in Serbia.
Yes, he is.
Played for the under-18 Serbian national team and played for Megamis. But he's 6'6", but he's a point guard.
Yes, that's what we need. We desperately need another point guard because we had the 3rd overall pick last year, and we definitely didn't take a point guard with that pick, who then didn't finish in the top 6 of Rookie of the Year voting. So let's go take another point guard with the 7th pick the next year. Like, what are we doing here, man? I get, and this wasn't the only one. I read a couple of mocks. The first one that I pulled up was a CBS Sports one. I was just curious, start learning some of these names, diving in. The first mock that I pulled up had them taking Reed Shepherd.
Yeah.
And I just, I wouldn't be surprised at this point, but what are we doing?
Okay, so here's the poll question, because it got me thinking.
Yes.
The poll question is pertaining to Topic being taken, a point guard. I said, would you be okay with the Blazers taking the best player available at 7, even if it was a point guard? Yes, can't be picky. No, more guards. Those are your two options.
I've seen a lot of mocks, by the way, too, that have this Topic bro going to the Spurs. They need a point guard, kind of some length.
I'm all over that. Yeah,
right, that one makes a little bit more sense. So I don't even know if he's going to be there at 7th overall.
This international 6'6" point guard is going to be amazing.
Right.
Yeah, the Spurs will find him.
More about the just simple idea of the Blazers drafting another guard. If they draft a guard with the 7th overall pick, I'm already out, so there's nothing else that can make me get even more out than I already am.
Okay.
I don't care if it's the best available player on their draft board, and I don't even care that Blazer fans are going to immediately throw examples in my face of, like, remember when we didn't draft Chris Paul or, took Martell Webster instead? Like, I get that those analogies are out there.
Okay, but are they wrong if the player becomes generational
sure,
or transcendent for your organization?
There are examples like that could be named left and right. If we draft another guard, what does it tell you about Scoot and Shaden?
So
internally, how do you feel about Scoot Henderson? You drafted him 3rd overall less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And you want to go draft another point guard. How does that work? Explain that to me.
Well, there's a team currently in the playoffs that might be a title favorite that did this.
Okay.
And we don't bring it up. We don't really talk about it. And I'm not suggesting, by the way, some of this is getting way ahead of ourselves because it's very early in mock season. We have no idea where they're going to go with this pick. Okay,
no. And mocks are all over the map because nobody knows how this draft board's going to shake out.
Did you see who was number 8?
Dalton Connect is in a lot of mocks that I saw.
Oh, I love me some Dalton Connect.
Did you see who was 14?
Yes, I perused this very quickly yesterday. Yeah. This Danny wrote about this cat. T1 Saloon.
Oh no, that's I looked at
a different one.
I looked at the board, not the mock draft.
Oh, sorry.
But the big board that ESPN did, and right there at number 14, Dirt's favorite player,
Who's my favorite player?
Zach Edey.
Oh, yes. Yes. Bring him to Portland.
Well, they've been connected to Klingon as well, so it just depends how far some of these guys fall and where they go. But the common thing in the first couple mocks is just the age. It's 18,
Yeah.
so like kind of gives you an idea of just truly how bad this is all going to be next year. The team that is in the playoffs that might be the title favorite to a lot of people, and how this conversation of do you take the talent or do you go positional need? I tend to lean Jeremy Woo. Not in the go take the point guard. I understand your concern and every fan's concern. They won 21 games.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in a position to act like they have anything solved. Anything. You can love Shaden, you can love Scoot. Maybe you just go, you know what, we're going to go 3. Okay. If that's the way you think that's the best to go, we'll have to wait and see before we can fully judge you on that. But I tend to agree with Jeremy Woo. You don't have a good enough team to sit here and act like you can't take the best player available. I think everything is kind of on the table with this organization. They don't want to fire their coach. They don't want him to be the coach. The coach doesn't want to be here, but he won't leave. You got that. And he showed up to the draft lottery and had this weird look. That whole thing in itself. So the team that I'm talking about is your beloved Denver Nuggets. 2015, they took 7th overall.
Jamal Murray?
Nope.
Who did they take?
Emmanuel Mudiay, who was supposed to be this really good young guard for them and take the next step. You know who they took the very next year at number 7?
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray. They didn't worry about the positional stuff. They saw a guy have a really rough rookie season. Jamal Murray was a beast to them, and they said, we're going Murray.
Sure.
And they went Murray. And I'm not saying it means you're going to be the Denver Nuggets. I'm just saying
And what do they see? Here's the thing.
beggars cannot be choosers,
Sure.
I think, when you win 21 games. I
Sure.
think that needs to be highlighted here.
I would also point out, the example is fair and it's right in my face, but I would also point out,
well, I'm not trying to throw it in your face.
I know,
It's
I
just
know.
a good example.
if they don't draft Jokic during a Quesarito commercial in the second round, none of this matters.
But they
right?
did,
But
and
they did.
so it does
Sure.
matter.
So when we draft our Jokic in the second round during a Taco Bell commercial, then we can draft as many guards as we want, because then we'll have a 3-time MVP. And have we ever had an MVP on our team? Walton won one maybe in the 70s?
Walton.
Okay.
He's
Been a long
alone,
time
yeah.
since we've had an MVP. My issue with it is simply the fact that, one, it would be acknowledging a failure from a year ago. Would it not? And Denver did that, and it worked out for them. Again, doesn't work out if they don't get Jokic, but it's acknowledging a failure
their
from a
last
year ago.
3 seasons have been failures.
Of course, everything's a failure with this
I
organization.
don't think you can highlight a failure when you've already been failing.
How does the rotation work, and how does the development work?
I don't know. We don't even know if they're going to take a point guard. I'm just like...
They might not, but I've seen a lot of mocks that have them taking not
Yes.
even just a guard in general, taking anybody under 6'3". Anthony Simons is still on this roster. Is he going to get traded this summer?
I tend to believe he'll ask out, but I don't have intel.
Is Malcolm Brogdon still going to be on the team on opening night, or are we going to trade him this summer?
I would hope not.
Because we have 2 other guards there. So then we're going to draft another guard with our backcourt that we're
okay.
supposed to be building around. Now, maybe all these trades happen and everything's cleared out.
Yes.
I'm sure there are many examples, too, of teams who have taken multiple guards and whiffed on all of them.
Yeah.
A la the Minnesota Timberwolves, who had back-to-back guard picks and took Johnny Flynn and rookie Rubio before Steph Curry was taken 7th overall.
Yeah, even I knew in college that was stupid.
Sure.
That was you hired a columnist to be your general manager.
Yes,
you
you
were
did.
already failing in that regard. That in real time was stupid. Everybody called that out. Rubio, okay, I get it. The Spain kid, the Olympics.
They took back-to-back point guards.
Johnny Flynn.
Yeah, back-to-back
I
point
watched
guards.
college basketball. Flynn was a fun story. Steph Curry was obviously better.
He's an all-time shooter.
That was organizational malpractice. For the positive patty spin I gave you of there could be a real treat that falls to you at 7 because this is such a weird draft. I want to go through the history real quick because you tried to highlight it. Shaden Sharp, we took him at 7. Kuminga the year before. These are the names at 7. Killian Hayes, Kobe White, Wendell Carter, Lauri Markkanen, Jamal Murray, Manuel Mudiay, Julius Randle, Ben McLemore, Harrison Barnes, Bismack Biyombo,
Hell yeah.
Greg Monroe, Curry, Eric Gordon, Corey Brewer, Randy Foye, Villanueva, Luau Deng, Heinrich, Nene Hilario, Eddie Griffin, Chris Mim. I'll stop there because that's 2000. You know
going
what
back
I
a long
noticed
ways.
about that list?
It's actually not that bad of a list.
It's not. There's a lot of talented players, but you know what stuck out to me about the list?
What do you got?
Murray's great, still a Nugget. Curry's been great, multiple championships won with the Warriors. Trying to look. Kobe White is still a Bull. He finally had a year that everybody talked about, and he probably should have won Most Improved Player in the NBA. It was kind of a joke that they gave it to Maxey over him. Everybody else popped after that team, popped on the next 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 team. The number 7 pick does have history of talent. It also largely has guys that pop on the next team, not guys that pop on the team that drafts him.
Kaminga's on a decent run. He had a decent year for Golden State this year. He's not there. He hasn't popped yet, but he had
they
an
didn't
okay
make the
year.
playoffs, so I'm not going to deem anything pop yet on that one. I just, the talent could fall to you the right way, and then maybe this is good. Yesterday was obviously awful. It's just, there's no other way to classify it. It was awful that happened to them. And yeah, talent falls at 7. It also tends to explode to its ultimate ceiling on the second team or the third team, depending on the player.
Usually the case. You give up on a guy after a couple of years, they move on and have more success elsewhere because you're not willing to be patient. And the 7th overall pick was a massive disappointment. You won 21 games. It's one of the worst seasons in the history of your franchise. You fell. You tumbled in the lottery. There's no way to classify that as a success. Drafting a guard, to me, would just be another slap in the face. I don't care how they feel about him. I'm not over the moon about their ability to evaluate talent quite yet. And I think log jamming that position once again with the 7th overall pick, when you still don't even know what you have in your 2 young guards. Shaedon Sharpe played 32 games this year. 32.
So if they love a point guard, this Toppich kid, just for the argument, then we'll go to Gundy. If they love him the most, you say, don't draft him. He's a guard.
Yes, that's exactly what I say.
Then you don't trust him at all.
No.
That's what that tells me. And I think a lot of people share your feelings on that, taking a guard. But that's what a lot of mocks have early on. It's, again, early, a lot of time to go.